Alright guys, so the first settings we're going to get into in this video is the in-game Fortnite settings. So you can see I'm averaging about 170 FPS, give or take. So my monitor is only 165 Hz refresh rate, but that's honestly pretty good. But I sometimes have stutters, I don't really like that, so I kind of want my stutters, like my 1% lows, to be above like 160 FPS, because that's what you're gonna notice. You're not just gonna notice the high FPS, you're gonna notice when it stutters and the 1% lows are really low. So the settings in this video we're gonna change are going to take your FPS way higher. Like for example, I'm running 170 average FPS on medium settings, which usually Fortnite gives you medium settings when you join in Fortnite. So let's go ahead and go into the settings. Alright, so we're in the lobby. We're going to go ahead and go to our settings here, and you see our display settings. My resolution says option because I'm using the NVIDIA app. We'll get into that later. So you want to make sure you have VSync off if you're trying to get high refresh rates. Frame limit, I like to put it unlimited, but you could also, since my monitor is 165 Hertz refresh rate, you could put it on 180. Just put it one setting above. If you're going to limit your FPS, just put it one setting above your FPS, because you do want a little bit more FPS, but sometimes having a lot more FPS, I don't know, I just like having a lot of FPS, but like maybe you're above 360 Hertz refresh rate? Who knows? That's kind of high, but some people just like to have a lot of FPS. So your rendering mode, the best option here is going to be low graphics. So you're going to be performance. Now you could run DirectX 12, but it's gonna have, of course you're gonna get lower FPS. So if you're looking for FPS and the least latency, so the quickest response time in your game, you're going to want it on performance. Then you're going to have to restart your game. From there, I'm going to go ahead and restart. Alright, now that we've reset our game here, we're going to go back to our settings here. We're going to see that we're on performance mode. So it's going to be lower graphics, but you're going to get a lot better performance and a lot better latency. So let's go ahead and go into our graphics quality. Oh, and by the way, this is not going to do anything for you performance wise. Changing your brightness, I mean, I guess you could turn it up for the best visibility, and you can adjust these settings however you like, but I just like having it on these settings. Of course, I actually do like having 150% brightness because you can see players better in my opinion. So 3D resolution, I like to have it around like 65-ish, but like I wouldn't go below like 50, because you're gonna go so low that it doesn't even help you anymore. It honestly, it just hurts your game at that point, because you can't even see anything when it's below like 40, in my opinion. So I would recommend like 60 to 75, depending on your performance and how much your 1% lows, how low they go. Like if you've got a pretty good graphics card, pretty good processor and everything, I would recommend 75%, because you still want your game to look good. It's not going to be that bad. View distance, if you have a good graphics card, there's no reason for you to have that on near, so you could just put that on medium. Textures, I would put that on low. Meshes, I would also put that on low. And make sure NVIDIA Reflex low latency is on plus boost. That gives you extra low latency in your game. So these are the best settings in Fortnite, and we'll go ahead and go into some optimizations in Windows. Alright, so from here, we're going to want to press our Windows button again and search power. So the ultimate performance power plan, if you have a like mid to high range PC, I would definitely recommend it because it outperforms every other power plan by quite a bit. So if you don't have that there, you're going to want to close that and type CMD, make sure you run it as administrator, and then copy what's in the description. It's going to say this, and then it'll add it. It adds the ultimate performance. Then you want to close that, go back to Windows and search power, and you'll see it there. See, it just pops up there and you can just click it and then you're good. That's all you have to do and you have it. Alright, so from here we're going to want to press Windows key and R at the same time. And then we want to type sys them.cpl. Then we're gonna go to advanced, click under performance, click settings, and then click adjust for best performance. But I would also recommend turning on these 3 settings just for like the best optimal view too. It also looks better because I don't want to change all that personally. But you can also just click adjust for best performance if you don't care. But I don't think the other ones do as much. Now we want to remove all of our temporary files, so we're going to go back to the run and we're going to type %temp%. Then we're going to delete all these files and make sure you can just skip these. If they won't delete, that's normal. And then open it back up and type temp with no percentages. And then click continue. And then delete everything you can with Control A and clicking delete. And then we can go to our recycle bin and empty the recycle bin so that it actually deletes them. A lot of people don't tell you that, but you have to do that to actually delete them from your system. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and go into the Windows tweaks. First of all, we're going to press our Windows button here, and we're going to search for graphics settings. And you're going to enter, and you're going to want to turn optimizations for windowed games on if it's off. And you're going to go to advanced graphics settings and click on default high performance GPU and make sure that it is let Windows decide, or you could click your best GPU. If you have more than one, make sure it's not on your processor integrated graphics, because that would be bad. And then turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. That makes your performance a ton better. And then you can also add your apps, add your games, and you can, let's say I added the Hunter Call of the Wild. You go here, let Windows decide high performance, you want to click high performance. Just like that. And you got to put it on the high performance graphics card so it gets the best performance possible. And next, we're going to go to we're going to close that and go back to our Windows key and search game mode. And you got to mix. Honestly, there is mixed. Honestly, a lot of people like to say that it's good, a lot of people say it's bad. I think it's good, but you could turn it on or off, it's up to you. But it turns things off in the background, as you can see. I think it's good. So, and then you can actually go to display here, and you can go to advanced display and make sure this is on the highest number it can be, because that is one of the most important things with your monitor. I see people mess up on. They get stuck on 60 Hertz refresh rate when their monitor goes to like 240, and that's like the worst thing ever. Alright, so now we want to right click our desktop, because we're done with the Windows optimizations, and click NVIDIA control panel. This is only for people with an NVIDIA graphics card. So if you have an AMD graphics card, you can skip this part. And we want to go to adjust image settings with preview, and we want to click use my preference, emphasizing, and then drag it all the way to performance and then click apply. And we want to click yes, then go to manage 3D settings. We want to click on this, make sure image scaling is off, ambient occlusion off, anisotropic filtering, we want to put that on application controlled, anti-aliasing on off, gamma correction, we turn that off. It'll work. We're gonna want anti-aliasing mode on off. Application max frame rate on off. CUDA GPUs on all. CUDA system fallback policy, driver default. DSR factors, we want that on off. Low latency mode, we want that on ultra. Max frame rate off. Multi-frame sampled AA, we want that off. OpenGL GDI compatibility, we want that auto. The next one we want on auto select. Power management mode, this is an important one, we need on maximum performance. Application controlled on prefer refresh rate, unless you just want to change it here. You can put it on highest available because you want the highest available refresh rate, of course. And then shader cache size, we want to put that at 100 gigabytes because that makes sure that you don't have to render stuff again. Anisotropic sample, we want that off. Negative LOD bias, you want to clamp. Texture filtering quality, make sure that's on high performance. Trilinear optimization, you want that on. Threaded optimization, you want that on. Triple buffering, you want that off. Virtual sync, you want that off. And then the rest you can just leave how they are, and then click apply. Now we can go to adjust video color settings, and then, adjust desktop color settings. We want to put the digital vibrance. Default is going to be on 50%. You can see it looks dull. Take it up to 100% to allow the maximum viewing experience. It looks so much better on 100%. These are all the optimizations for the NVIDIA control panel, but if you want to go here and select your actual game, you're more than welcome to change your settings. But we can close that. And if you have the NVIDIA app, this is also really important to make sure that your drivers are the most updated. You want the newest graphics drivers. If you go to your drivers here, make sure that you have the most recent graphics game ready driver, and make sure it's on game ready and not studio, because that would not be good. If we go to Fortnite here, do not touch this because we did the Fortnite performance ourselves. Because if you do it from here, you're gonna get less FPS. You just are, because it doesn't add performance mode on here. It wants you to use DLSS. DLSS is good if you're not on performance mode, but you can't even use it when you're on performance mode. So, and this is what we just did in the NVIDIA control panel, of course. And that's pretty much all you can really do, unless you want to go here and turn that off. That'd probably help. And another really good thing to optimize performance is to use the MSI Afterburner utility. If you do not have it, I'll put a link in the description to download it, and you can just pretty much get the best overclock on your graphics card. Just look up the best settings for your graphics card, because most people put their settings that they tried on the graphics card in MSI Afterburner that work well. On a 4060, I recommend memory clock 1500 and core clock at 230 250 range, but 250 you crash on some games, so I'll probably do 230. And then turn your power limit all the way up, and temp limit will go with it. And I'm not going to mess with undervolting or anything like that, but this gives you the optimal performance, and we will go ahead and see what our performance is like now in Fortnite. Alright, so you can see we're in the game now, and we're getting about the same FPS, but the low FPS is literally 200. You got to get the 1% lows up. That's what you really notice, because as long as your FPS is above your refresh rate, you're not really going to notice any differences. It all really looks the same. So, your ping is also really important. I'll do a optimization guide for your ping too, to get more ping. And that's pretty much it, guys. You just get a lot more FPS. And I'm doing this on a 4060, so I'm getting pretty decent FPS on Fortnite. 200 to 300 FPS. That's not bad in my opinion. So, and that's pretty much it for today, guys. So, like and subscribe, and if you're interested, I have a Discord linked.